Good morning. I am Mr. Porche. I will be teaching you History and English 11A. If you have any questions, please raise your hand quietly and respectfully, and I will get around to each of your questions. This is a safe place to learn, so don't feel bad asking any questions. Today's lesson will be off of Standard 11-7-5, discussing the constitutional issue and impact events of the U.S. home front, including the intern of Japanese Americans and the restrictions on Germany and Italian residents, alien response of the administration to Hitler's atrocities against Jews and other groups. Also, this was a universal design for learning structure. Today we will be learning about World War II. Before we get into the lesson, I just want to ask, what do you know about discrimination and World War II before we get into it? Okay, you guys like the Call of Duty? Alright, understandable. Any other comments or facts that we do know about World War II? It's fine if you guys don't. Okay. First, why is it important to learn about World War II? It demonstrates what people in power who discriminate and hate are capable of doing. Don't worry if you guys don't know what discriminate is just yet. We will get into that. Many countries were involved. It wasn't just an isolated incident. It wasn't just a civil incident in a state or a country. It involved multiple facets. Over 60 million people were killed because of people that did not understand each other and did not try to understand each other. And the biggest thing about history is to learn from the mistakes of our own past so that we do not repeat them. Some of the backstory leading up to the World War II, because of World War I, many European countries became unstable because of lack of leadership, because a lot of them became overran or overthrown, and many of them became economically struggling, financially unstable. Many countries were poor because they owed reparations to many other countries from World War I. The questions that we will be going over today is, what is it called when you judge someone and treat people negatively and different because of their race, age, gender, or religion? What were each group of countries that joined forces known as? Which individual person was responsible for the Holocaust? What group of people were targeted in the Holocaust? After which attack did the United States decide to join the war? And what is one new thing you learned about the war? I know it might seem like a lot of questions. Don't worry, we're going to take each question step by step. First one. What is it called when you judge and treat people negatively and different because of their race, age, gender, or religion? So, when you judge and treat people negatively and differently, especially because of their age, race, gender, or religion, it is discrimination. For most of you, you can either fill out the sentence stem. For those of you that want to continue to build your writing skills, you can write the full sentence. Discrimination is when you judge and treat people negatively and different because of their age, race, gender, or religion. Remember, we're trying to build our writing skills. Now we'll go on to the next question. I'll give you guys a couple more seconds to finish that. Right, moving on. What were each group of countries that joined forces known as? Hint, it's going to use the word powers in it. The countries that joined forces together were known as the Axis powers, also the bad guys, Germany, Italy, and Japan, and the Allied powers, which were the good guys, the France, Great Britain, Soviet Union, and the United States. So when you guys are going through the PowerPoint or the sheets in front of you, make sure that you highlight the key things that the questions are answering as you're moving or working along. So we're going to take the information that we just took from another slide, as you see our question at the top there, what were each group of countries that joined forces known as? The countries that joined forces were known as the Allied and Axis powers. The countries that joined forces were known as the Allied and Axis powers. If you want to write it the full sentence and keep on building our writing skills. Like I said, we're going to keep on practicing our writing skills, and we're going to go through the same process for each of the questions. So if I am going too fast, don't feel bad for stopping me or having me go back and repeat something that you may have not caught before. The next classwork question is, which individual person was responsible for the Holocaust? So remember, we're going to go through each question, then as you go through the next slide, remember in the head the question that we're about to work on. So, Adolf Hitler. He was a veteran from World War I. He was a member of the Nazi Party, also known as the National Socialist German Workers' Party. He was elected Chancellor of Germany, which in comparison is to our President of the United States. He hated Jewish people and those that did not look like his ideal description, was the Aryan race, pure race, blonde hair, blue eyes. He created concentration camps which killed, tortured, and enslaved over 6 million Jewish people. So now we're going to jump back to our third question. Which individual person was responsible for the Holocaust? The individual person that was responsible for the Holocaust was Adolf Hitler. Like I said, for those of you that don't want to use the sentence stems, you can move on and write full sentences. The individual person was responsible for the Holocaust was Adolf Hitler. In that same, after going on to that one, we're going to go on to the next question. What group of people were targeted in the Holocaust? Now, thanks to our last slide, we actually have the answer, so we're going to go back to that slide. Down here at the bottom, hated Jewish people and those that did not look like his ideal description, Aryan, pure race, blonde hair, blue eyes, and created concentration camps which killed, tortured, and enslaved over 6 million Jewish people. And I see I have different colors so you can follow along which question that we're working on. So now at the top, our next question, what group of people were targeted during the Holocaust? The group of individuals that were targeted in the Holocaust were the Jewish people. Like I said, you can either use the sentence stems, or for those of you that want to work ahead and build your writing skills, the Jewish people were the group of individuals that were targeted in the Holocaust. Give you guys a second to finish that. Moving on to our next question. After which attack did the United States decide to join the war? So, the United States joined the war. Before we did join the war, we wanted to remain neutral. The president at the time was Franklin Roosevelt, and he did not want to get into the affairs of World War II because we had just gotten to World War I and we were trying to stay out of the other world's business. He was the only president to be elected for a third term because of everything that was going on. People were in kind of a dismay of what we should do during the war, and since he handled the last war, they felt comfortable with him still being in power. In 1941, a German submarine attacked a U.S. boat, which then launched a counterattack. But that wasn't the tipping point for us to declare war. The next one comes on from our next fact. On December 8th, 1941, after the attack on Pearl Harbor, Japanese aircrafts launched attacks on U.S. naval base in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. So, as you see highlighted, that's what we are going to add on to our answer before we go on. And also, the United States used the world's first atomic bomb. That was not seen until we dropped 2 bombs in Hawaii, killing over 3 million people. So, moving on to our next question. After which attack did the United States decide to join the war? Same sentence. The United States decided to join the war after the attack on Pearl Harbor. Again, if you want to just skip the sentence stems and write your full sentences, making your own paragraph, that's completely fine. The United States decided to join the war after the attack on Pearl Harbor. It's a full sentence. And the last of the questions is, what is one new thing you learned about the war? So, with this, you guys will be able to write multiple things. You don't have to be restricted to both lines or just one line. One new thing I learned about the war. You atomic bombs. Thanks. Good. Good. Was something else that we learned about concentration camps? Good. And anything else that we have learned that was new that we didn't know previously, we can also put there. So also for those that don't want to use the sentence stems, remember you can write the full sentence. One thing, new thing I learned about the World War II were the atomic bombs or whatever else that you may have come across that interested you or piqued your interest. So in conclusion to World War II, with the United States joining the war, it helped give the Allied powers enough backing and support to help end the war. Moments before being captured, Adolf Hitler took his own life. As a result of endangering the world, Germany and other Axis powers had to pay reparations to all Allied powers. Germany had territory taken away and divided between the Allied powers. Holocaust victims and their families were paid annually by Germany, and I believe it's until this day. Scholarly article said the last one may have ended in 2005. In order to do a refresher or assess exactly what we went over, have a matching assignment for us. So we'll go, don't worry, we'll go by step, and I'll just pick on one of us to try to match each answer to the actual letter. So, number 1, Pearl Harbor. Which one do you think matches Pearl Harbor the best? Is it A, when you judge and treat people negatively and differently because of their race, age, gender, or religion? Is it B, the United States decided to join the war after attack on... Right. See? I like it. Alarms going off in our head. So yeah, it will be B, the United States decided to join the war after the attack on. And as you're going down this list, remember after we use that one, it's scratched off, so now we can just work on the next one. So the next one is Jewish people. So A, we're going to use process of elimination. So A wouldn't really fit that description, so let's go on to C. A group of people that were targeted during the Holocaust. That definitely fits. So that will be the next answer. C. Jewish people were the ones that were targeted during the Holocaust. Now we'll go on to discrimination. For discrimination, let's go back to A or D. Let's start with D. Individual responsible for the Holocaust. Nope. Countries that join forces on opposing sides. Nope. When you judge and treat people negatively and differently because of their race, age, gender, or religion. Now that fits for discrimination. And it's all color-coded so you guys can follow along in your handouts or on the PowerPoint. Allied and Axis powers. Are they individuals responsible for the Holocaust? No, so we could cross them out. And countries that join forces on opposing sides. That fits for the Allied and Axis powers, so we will fill that out. Then that leaves Adolf Hitler. And the only question that we don't have highlighted yet, individual responsible for the Holocaust. We have all that filled out. If you guys are complete, you could turn this in and get the full amount of points. If not, you can stay after class and I'll definitely go over everything with you more. If you guys don't have any other questions, comments, or concerns, you are free to go. Thank you for staying with me in this lesson. And I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow.